Okay, thank you guys for joining. I am super excited today to do our recent grad panel. We have two highly successful individuals here to talk with all of you. But before we get to that, my two interns would have my neck if I did not remind everybody to join our Instagram page, which is THS underscore college Career Center. I think that's right. Danny and Steph have taken over the Instagram and they're doing a lot of really cool things. And I think they're going to be sharing today a FAFSA drawing. Is that correct?
We can. Also, Danny just let me know that she can't hear anything. She doesn't have any audio. So
Oh,
it's just
okay.
gonna be me. But
So it's just going to be you today. So yeah,
yeah.
they're going to be sharing today in Instagram a fun FAFSA challenge that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go ahead and get started. You guys are welcome to put your questions in the chat. Steph will be monitoring that. We will open it up at the end for questions, but we're going to be really mindful of Paige and Marcy's time because they are college students and they are busy. So with that, I would like to start off by having each of you guys introduce yourself, your name, where you're going to school, what you're majoring in, and also just a little bit about the scholarships that you received because you were both super successful. And I don't know if you can remember all of them, but try to think of those big ones. And so let's start with Marcy. And you guys can both unmute yourself at this time, unless you have like a super noisy dog or something.
Okay, wait, I have a list of my scholarships actually in my notes. Okay, I'm Marcy Weiss. I was in the class of 2020 last year, I just graduated. I'm going to Willamette University, which is right next to the Capitol in Salem. And I'm going to be majoring in PPLE, which stands for Politics, Policy, Law, and Ethics. The scholarships I received last year were, I received like the local Elks one. I got like a Rotary Student of the Quarter. I got one of the COSA. It was like the OALA one, which is like for Latinas, and then I got I got one of the singer ones. I got the Selco one. This one that was like SAAC, I got in the THS alumni one. I got another Rotary one, and then I got one from the Springfield Emblem Club.
Did you mention Elks?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you for being here. And it looks like maybe, are you in a dorm right now?
Yes, I am.
So you're able to live on campus. That's awesome. Great. Well, we'll have to ask about that later. All right, let's turn it over to Paige.
All right. Hi, I'm Paige Oswald. I actually graduated in the class of 2020 from Springfield High School. I'm going to the U of O right now. I'm currently undecided, but as far as my major, but I'm thinking about majoring in sociology or somewhere in the legal field. Some of the scholarships that I received, I applied for a lot, but some of the ones that I received were the local Springfield Rotary one, the Singer Scholarship, the local Emblem Scholarship, and the Summit Scholarship, which is specifically from the U of O. And yeah, so.
That's awesome. And I think I have known both of you guys since middle school, right? When you were in middle school, is that right? Marcy, a little bit longer. I think I've known you since elementary school. So yeah, so thank you guys for being here. Let's dive right into it. Tell me, what is one thing you wish you had known your senior year? And we'll start with you, Paige.
Probably I wish I had, or it had been more enforced into me how important it is to really get your college apps done and then also apply to like as many college scholarships as possible, even though you're like, oh, I might not get that, or oh, like all these iffy ones. A lot of the ones that I ended up receiving were ones that I wasn't sure that I was even eligible for. And so I think it's super important to just kind of just throw them out there. And especially like now that we're at home and that you might have a little more time than normal, that it's really important to get those done sooner than waiting till the last minute, which I know that I definitely did at times.
Awesome. Marcy?
I guess one thing that I wish I had known was like, well, this is like specific to like our class, and I guess it applies to you guys too, but like having like a real graduation and like all the like senior stuff that came with that, with like, you know, there's like senior skip day, like there's senior pranks and that sort of stuff. Like I feel like in the big scheme of things, like it doesn't actually matter that much as long as you have like your diploma and you have the skills that you need for the rest of your life for college or whatever you choose to do. That's what is really important, because like talking to like everyone, like no one really like is like, oh my God, I never had my graduation. Like, yeah, at the time it was kind of, oh no, we're not getting our graduation, but like here I am in college doing fine and I didn't have graduation. And I know you guys are missing out on a lot because of COVID, and just know it's not a huge deal. You're not going to look back on this and be like, I can't believe I missed out on all of this. It'll be fine.
Yeah, in the moment, it's really hard. I think a lot of you guys know I also had a senior last year, and in the moment, it was really hard. But you know, here we are in November, and it seems so far away. And it does. It's not to try to make light of the matter, but life does go on. So. What was your favorite part? We'll start with Marcy. What was your favorite part of your senior year, aside from coming to visit me as much as possible and having chips and cookies?
My favorite part was probably just like having like my friends, and I had like a lot of off periods and we would like all hang out and just like making the connections, and I still talk to like all of my friends from high school and like just keeping those connections. And also like um I know you guys aren't gonna get this maybe, but I had like my soccer senior night and a basketball senior night, and that was just really great, especially because I'm not playing basketball anymore. So it was a good send off to the sport that I'll probably never play again. Um, but also getting those scholarships at the end when you apply for them, and then you keep getting emails saying, oh, you got this one, or you got this one. It is a really great feeling.
Yeah, it makes it worth all that hard work and time that I know both of you guys had to put in. So, Paige.
I would probably say that mine's probably fairly similar to Marcy's. It was definitely like around, probably around this time last year, which I know that it's kind of hard to relate to, especially since you guys are all online, but it's just like being able to like connect with friends in a way that you didn't always get to the past 3 years, because there's you kind of like I've noticed that we all bonded over being like super stressed about things, but then also having a lot of like new freedoms and like new like time to do things, and kind of like exploring all that with my friends was really great. But it's definitely like an amazing feeling also getting those responses back from college, like, hey, you've been admitted or you've been accepted here, or getting those scholarships was definitely something that I also found was like really great, especially like now when everything seems so dull. But then like I remember I was actually like at the dump with my dad doing yard work, and I got this call from the singer scholarship, and I was like, it's just something that like really lit up my year, and it's just a funny story.
Well, I really appreciate the creativity that our seniors had last year. I know, Paige, we went and did senior photos, and that really, graduation photos, excuse me. And that was just so much fun. And it was like, we took a situation that really stinks and we made it the best possible. I shouldn't say we, because I had nothing to do with that. That was your mom. But so there is, ways that you can make this situation the best possible. Okay, so what is one thing you regret or a mistake that you made your senior year or anytime during high school? And we'll start with you, Paige.
I would say a mistake that I think I made last year was being overly bummed out about situations that I can't control, especially about like COVID and being like, very like upset about things, really frustrated about graduation and all of that, and missing the like last few senior things. And I think that I would have been a lot happier if I just kind of like rolled with the punches more, I guess. But then like overall, it's hard to say this because like I know you guys are all seniors already, but one mistake that I think I did overall throughout high school was not taking advantage of like the art classes and all like the different like elective classes. Like I was kind of too focused on like taking like the high advanced classes that I didn't always enjoy school. So like if you guys have a chance to take one more fun class, do it because I wish I did.
Good advice. Marcy?
I would say the biggest mistake I made was I only applied to one college. I definitely don't recommend doing that. I mean, it all worked out for me, but you guys should definitely like keep your options open, um, and apply to more than one college. Also, my other big regret is we had this like senior parade thing and I didn't go, and everyone that went got $50 and I missed out on the $50. So if they have something like that, go to it because you could get money.
Okay. So this next question is actually, you kind of already answered it, so I'm going to skip it and we're going to move on to one more question and then open it up for the group. So what's your best advice or tips that you would like to give our seniors? If you were to give like Marcy and Paige top tips, what would they be? And Marcy, let's start with you.
Well, my first thing would be keep applying for scholarships until there's no more that you can apply for, because even if you feel like, oh my God, this is pointless, because I definitely felt like this, because you don't know if you won them until like weeks and like months later. Like I didn't know until like June and July for some of them. But just keep applying, because if you just win like one, that will be like all worth it. And then another thing I would say, this is more like post graduation going into college. When you go to your college classes, they're going to give you a syllabus and you need to read the syllabus. I did not know this. And I walked into my first class and I got my syllabus and I was like, okay, I have a syllabus now, whatever. And then I went to the next class and they're like, okay, who did the reading? And I was like, what reading? Reading. Yeah, all the assignments and tests and stuff are on the syllabus, and a lot of the time the professors will not tell you to check your syllabus, and they don't say anything about an assignment, and then they just expect you to show up and know what to do and to already have all the readings and stuff done. So those are my top tips.
That is good to know. Definitely different than high school, right? All right, Paige.
Yeah, I would definitely like agree with Marcy on all of those. And then like they don't tell you how important keeping up with your email is. Like it's not a big deal, and it's not a big deal in high school. It's a very big deal in college. Keep up with your email and make sure it's organized, because I'm still working on that. And I'm like, I ignore emails. Also, I would say like get involved in whatever you can throughout your senior year. Like even if your school does something like silly, like I know like a spirit week virtually, I know it like sounds dumb, but it really helps you like keep connections with people, because I know that there's a few people who I wish I still like talked to a little bit, especially before the senior year ended. And then also like in college as well, because it's super hard to like make friendships and connections in college right now, that I've noticed, especially being online, and especially since I'm not actually in a dorm right now. And so whether it's through like, I know the U of O calls it a FIG program, which is like a smaller group. So like get involved in a FIG or whatever OSU offers or whatever Willamette offers, like get involved in something. And that way you like have some sort of connection with a smaller group of people.
That's awesome. One more thing that I wanted to ask you that I just thought of when you were talking about getting involved. Can you guys talk about any extracurricular things that you were involved with, or any volunteer work that you did? We'll start with you, Paige. Sorry.
Okay. Now I'm gonna really rack my brain. So for extracurriculars, I played a lot of sports. I played soccer and basketball. And I did track my freshman year. That didn't last long. Didn't enjoy it that much. I volunteered quite a bit my senior year, because I was in National Honor Society as well, which that looks great on college applications, by the way, if you guys haven't already done those. So do National Honor Society, even though some people don't talk about it that much. So I did a lot of like volunteering for that. And I can't remember exactly what I did. But yeah.
Well, you played sports and things like that.
Yes.
So you were involved.
I
High school
definitely
seems
did a
so far
lot.
away.
It's a blur though.
Yeah. Soccer, basketball. I think, you didn't do volleyball, did you?
No, I did in middle school, but you kind of have to choose between soccer and volleyball.
Yeah. Marcy?
So I did, like Paige, I did soccer and basketball, and then I also did track, except for senior year because that didn't happen. And then let's see, I was in our leadership class. I started when I was a sophomore, and I was just a rep. But this last year, I was like the vice president, and then I was in National Honor Society. I think I was like the publicity director or something of that. What else? I just did like a couple. Oh, I did the Rotary Model United Nations, and I that looked good on the resume. I also did like a graphic design, like apprenticeship thing, apprenticeship, that word. I'm trying to think of what else. I
Marcy,
think that
didn't
was about
you
it.
do a volunteer project with soccer?
Oh yeah. My mom is like the principal of this summer school for migrant students. And so I volunteered there and I did like I ran like a PE program for the kids and it was like soccer drills and just letting them play soccer. So I did that with them as well.
So you guys have done a lot in your short lives, which probably don't seem that short, but awesome. So I am going to open it up for a Q&A. So if you guys have questions, you are welcome to unmute yourself and ask. I think Stephanie and Danny might have some questions as well. You can drop questions in the chat if you'd like.
I have a question. I was having audio problems at the beginning, but now I can hear all your beautiful voices. But I guess I'm curious. Y'all talked a lot about scholarships and applied all the scholarships. How did you find scholarships that like worked well for yourself?
Well, I know for me, Jessica had that huge like folder in the College and Career Center, and I would just stop by like every once in a while and look through all the scholarships, or I'd go to Jessica and be like, hey, do you have any new scholarships I should apply for? But really you want to focus on the local ones because those are the ones you're more likely to win. Like I applied for some online ones, but I didn't win any of those. Really put your energy and attention on the local ones. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, I agree. I did a very similar thing with Miss Malore at Springfield, who is basically Jessica Thurston, kind of. And yeah, I just constantly would go in and then be like, hey, Miss Malore, you got any new stuff? And then I would kind of just, take those and kind of collect a pile. And I actually created, because I have an awful time keeping track of things, I created a spreadsheet of all the different scholarships I could apply for, and then I could like check them off as I did them. And then, but yeah, I definitely focus on the ones that are local, because I also applied to those, like I think I did some like big like community credit union ones and other things, and I didn't always get those because there's like thousands of people who apply for those versus like some of the local ones, which are only like 100 or so. And so, or you're actually like or because they do it based on school, sometimes you're the only one or two, and it's, even though it's like, you're like, oh, it's only like $700 is a big difference, and you don't realize that, and you're like, oh wow. So
yeah, I always would tell my my oldest son has all his college paid for because he was very dedicated like you. My younger son only applied for one scholarship and he, got it. I wish he had applied for more, but he can't be as great as you guys are. But I always tell students it's really important to get to know your college and career advisor because they look out for you. I know for Marcy, I would literally send her text messages asking her to come see me and handing her scholarship applications. And it's because, the more you know a student, you know what their strengths are, you know what they're going after, and you're able to look at a scholarship and say, this scholarship is one that I know you can win, and so we want you to apply for it. And it wasn't just Marcy. I think I did that with quite a few people. And sometimes I would give one to Marcy and not to someone else because it was something that I knew Marcy would be successful in. And so I think that's important. Good question, Danny. Any other questions?
I can ask one if nobody else has one. I was just wondering how you two went about choosing your college and if you have any advice for students who are currently deciding which college they want to go to.
I know for me, I was for the longest time really confused. I was like, I don't know what I would do. I don't even know. I was like, and then I thought, okay, well, if I don't know what I want to do, then I don't know which college I want to go to, because if I'm going to go to college, I want to make sure it's like something that it has what I want. But ultimately, I was kind of considering going, because I think I'm going to go to the law route right now. And I was considering something in political science. And I went on Oregon private college tour week, whenever that was. And so I toured all the schools. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to private college because they're really expensive. But when I toured Willamette, I don't know, I was just like, I could see myself here. And then they have a 3-3 law program here where it's it takes a year off of what it would take to get your law degree. And we're directly across from the state capitol, and people get internships working. I know we have this internship class. I can't do it yet because I'm a freshman, but it's oh, this person just won an election. They need interns. You can go be an intern over there. And I think that's really cool. So I also was able to play soccer here, which was a big part of that too. And I'm on the track team here as well. So I think all of that combined, I was just like, okay, I think this school is for me. I just have to make sure I get all my scholarships in so I can afford this because it's really expensive.
yeah, I was actually in between three schools. I was in between the U of O, OSU, and Willamette also. So for me, it's really hard because I still don't exactly know what I want to do. So I definitely, once school was officially kind of canceled for the rest of the year, I really took the time to try to look into each school and what I think they could offer me. Right now, I decided to stay with the U of O and OSU because they are bigger schools. They're not private colleges, and I chose that because I knew that I wanted to keep my options really open right now in case I did want to change total career change paths and change career paths, sorry. And so I knew that some private schools like Willamette, which have really good law programs, which are something that I'm going to look into in the future if I want to transfer or go to graduate school. But I know that for me, because I don't know exactly what I want to do, I chose a bigger school. And the U of O is also just has really good facilities, and they've been really good about reaching out and trying to help me get involved in school. And so I also just kind of had that connection with the school that I didn't quite have with OSU. So that's kind of some of the reasons why I chose U of O.
And I think it's great that you don't know what you want to do. I think that's really maybe comforting to a lot of our students right now who are saying the exact same thing. I don't know what I want to do. And so how do I choose that? And so I appreciate you kind of walking through your thought process. With that, I know, and I refer back to my children all the time, but they are college students, so it's easy to refer back to that. But I had my oldest who was going to go for accounting and met with the accounting program at U of O because they have this program where you can, in 4 years, you can get your bachelor's and your master's. And so he went to talk to the professor about that. And that was about a 45-minute meeting. And he walked out and he said, yeah, I'm not going to do accounting. I'm going to go marketing. And so went and talked to an advisor and switched it before he even started classes. So it's just like a good reminder is that it's okay to not know. And a lot of times students do change their majors. I think if you do know and you stick with it, that's pretty rare and pretty awesome. But it's okay not to know. So I know there was some comments in the chat, Steph and Danny, if you guys want to go through that, but are there any other questions while they're looking on that?
I'm just looking at the chat, and one question was just answered by just asking why you decided the school you went to was the right fit, which I loved both of your answers. Great, that's awesome. And the other question we have in there is a student saying that they're not sure if they would like to go to college right after school, and I think this is something that Jessica, Stephanie, and I can chime into if Paige and Marcy, you're not sure if you have any advice, but they're really just wondering, they're not sure if they want to go to college at all, and if we could talk about that and any advice for this student.
I don't really know a lot about that, but I know there's kind of like a stigma around like kids fresh out of high school that are like, I don't know if I want to go to college. Like, I don't know if that's the right thing for me. And I feel like there's kind of a negative stigma around that, but I think it's like totally cool that you don't want to just like follow what they always say, like, go to college, get your degree. Like, there's so many different things you can do in the world that you don't need a college degree for. Like, I mean, you can go to like cosmetology school or whatever. I have a friend who's doing that. I also have friends that are just like, I don't know if I even want to go to college. Like, I'm just going to take this time to work and save some money. And maybe if I do want to go to college, I'll be able to afford that. Just that's my take on that.
Yeah, I'm not super experienced or knowledgeable in that realm. I know that like this year I kind of toyed with the idea of maybe taking a gap year, but I didn't because I decided that wasn't in my personal best interest. But I know that like there is so many opportunities that don't always include college, or that you can have so many different like careers and stuff. And so I just would say that if you don't want to go to college or you want to take a gap year, that's fine or normal. Just also try to like maybe possibly come up with some sort of plan. Like, don't just be like, well, high school's done forever, I never want to know what I want to do with my life. That doesn't mean like have a step-by-step planner, but just have like some sort of general direction.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with that. I mean, when I was in school, which was a long, long time ago, obviously, but it was all my friends. I grew up back east, and all my friends were going to Ivy League schools, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to go to school. I knew I was like over high school, and I will say, like, I'm going to school now, and I'm obviously a lot older. I've had a 20-year career, and I'm in school now. My husband went in his 30s. Not saying like that you have to do that, but if you're not ready or you're not sure, college is really expensive, and it's really expensive to spend that money and not be sure. And I don't want to tell anyone not to go to college. If you want to go and don't know what you want to do, you can still go and take classes and kind of figure out what classes you like and maybe join some clubs and things like that. But if you're like, I don't know if this is for me, let's have a conversation. because there's a lot of things out there that, like Marcy said, you don't need a degree. You know, there's so many different options. My oldest son, who is a marketing major, is telling me that his business that he's doing, he's learned everything on YouTube. Now, he's not making the money to live on his own, but I'm saying that nowadays things are so different than when I was in school, and that was the path. And so really just kind of discovering, this is like that year that you discover, like, what is it that you want to do? And you can change that in your 30s, in your 40s. You can change careers like I did, or go back to school whenever. So if you're kind of one of those people that are like, I don't know, let's have a conversation and let's kind of talk about it. I saw a lot of things happening in the chat, Danny. What's going on in chat?
Yeah. So one of our awesome students in here is asking, when did you know that was the college right for you, and when did you apply to get in? So already kind of answered the when did you know the college was right for you part, but when did you decide to apply to that?
I did sorry.
No, you're good.
I did the early application. And I know it's kind of like kind of scary applying because there's like 3 options when you apply. And I know for Willamette it was, like I said, I only applied for one school, which I do not recommend doing. But for Willamette, it was like you can apply early and you're not committing that you're going to go there. You can apply early, but you have to commit that you're going to go there. And then you can apply later, and that's just like the normal application. And I was like still not entirely sure about Willamette, but I was like, I think this is the school that I want to go to. Like, I'm pretty sure this is where I want to go. So I was like, well, I'm just going to do the early application and just keep my options open. And I mean, I had plans to apply to other schools. I just didn't follow through with them because I think the more I thought about it, I was like, well, I think Willamette is where I want to go. And I visited the campus several times and I was like, yeah, this is where I want to go. And they got back to me, I think, because I applied at like the beginning of November, and I think they got back to me at like December or January. It was somewhere in the winter.
Yeah, I think so. I applied. I missed all the early apps deadlines because I was really busy at that time and stressed out, and so I didn't do those. So I think I applied sometime around December, November. So like coming up like now, about this time last year. Like right after the early apps is when I started applying for like U of O and all that. And I think they all responded to me by the end of January or like sometime after Christmas. I remember kind of getting those acceptance letters. I know I applied. I was looking through like the list on like the college app website, and I applied to Willamette because I had thought about it, and also it was free. So, and I know. So honestly, I think the number of colleges you apply for depends on like who you are, and like, because like if you're certain that you want to go to like OSU, then there's not necessarily a huge reason to apply to a school that's asking you to pay like $200 to apply to an Ivy League school, which for me is kind of ridiculous. So it all kind of depends on what you want to do. But yeah, I would say that like a good amount is like 3. That's kind of what I did, but I don't know.
Awesome. Just to be mindful of everybody's time, I'm just gonna ask a few questions, and I'm gonna just direct it to one of y'all, just so we can get through all these awesome questions that we have. But that's awesome. So, Paige, you kind of just touched on, well, both of you have already kind of touched on how did you know, like, exactly why that was right for you. And since you already both kind of talked about that, I can just talk about my experience going into college. I knew that the University of Oregon was the right fit for me just because when I was on campus, like it felt like home. And especially being an out-of-state student, that was like very important to me. And also it just felt right to me because I loved the nature, I loved the campus, it was beautiful, and everybody was just so nice. So really, like, you just know. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but you will just know. And then another one of our students asked, what do you want to be after you're done with college? So, Marcy, I'm gonna toss that one to you. If you're not feeling it, then toss it to Paige.
I think, well, I know I want to go into law right now. And I think I want to do immigration law. I'm not entirely sure yet, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm also minoring in studio art, and I have been toying with the idea of going into the art field, but I think if I'm going to do that, I need to transfer schools. But so far, immigration law.
Awesome. Paige, do you want to do a quick little response to that?
Yeah, so straight up answer, from being 110% honest, is I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. The only thing that I know that I want to do has nothing to do career related is to travel, and that's not career related at all. So, but yeah, that's I don't know exactly yet.
So with the travel piece, Paige, are you considering studying abroad?
Yeah, I'm currently looking into that. I'm trying to see if I can maybe do it next year, but with the whole COVID thing, I might want to wait till like my junior year. So I'm looking into that now.
Study abroad. I studied abroad and it was amazing. Highly recommend. And just to touch on just what Paige said, I'm going into my senior year. I'm literally in my senior year of college, and I have no clue what I want to do either after college, and that's like totally fine. And Stephanie's saying that too. So, another question we have: how much are books usually for classes?
They kind of range. I know that for this term specifically, I only know like the range because I actually have an older sister in college. But for me specifically, I only had one book, and it's an online book that I have downloaded onto my computer, and it was $60. So I only have one book this term.
That was the same for me. Like, I only had one textbook that I needed, and my professor sent out an email and he was like, I know that you guys like already paying a lot, so you should go on Amazon and look up this term, and like the books that I was seeing was only like $20.
Yeah. That's gonna be
Yeah, that is awesome. Also, every school and major is different, so just like keep that in mind. But usually times professors are very mindful of that. But also, a lot of universities and schools have like libraries where you can go rent out the book, as well as like programs to get the book for free. So just keep that in mind. I think we can. Those are all the questions in the chat that I'm seeing. I think we can wrap up, do our raffle. And if anybody has any last minute questions or I missed them, send it back in the chat. Oh. They say, everybody, thank you for your time. We appreciate you. How many colleges should we apply for in the beginning? So Paige said she recommended 3. Honestly, Jessica, do you have a good answer to this that's like short and sweet that you recommend?
So I think 3 is definitely a good number. I mean, you have to consider that you're going to be doing all these applications, so you don't want to overwhelm yourself. But you always want to have, the school that you want to go to, and then a backup plan. If nothing else, Marcy did not have a backup plan. It drove me crazy, but you don't tell Marcy what to do. She has to figure it out on her own. I learned that really quickly. But you always want to have a backup plan. And one thing that we noticed or learned, I will say, last year is that when COVID came, a lot of students' plans changed. And so having that backup plan, whether it's, LCC or, staying home and going to U of O or whatever, that is really important. I don't know that you need to put a number on it, but you always have to have a backup plan. So if you're wanting to go to OSU, what are you going to do if that doesn't work out? What if you don't get enough scholarships? What if, a pandemic happens? Because now we know that that's a thing. What's your backup plans? And with that, it's not just college, it's the Oregon Promise, it's your FAFSA, it's all doing all of that stuff now, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. And if there's anything that we learned in the last year is that we don't know what our future holds. So those great questions. Marcy and Paige, thank you both so much. I appreciate you both so much. And I have a little something for you. I'm going to be sending you each a little gift card. So just for taking time out and doing this. And Paige, especially thank you for you, because I know this was kind of on the fly. that I just text you and asked you to do this, and I appreciate it very much. And Marcy, you always do everything I ask you to do, almost, so I appreciate you as well. And we do have a raffle, so anybody that comes to any of our college and career readiness workshops gets automatically entered into the raffle, which is super awesome. And we are giving away a $5 gift card. I don't have it in front of me, but we will get it to you. And is there any other announcements? Oh, there is no workshop next week because next week is Veterans Day. So there will be no workshop next week, but we will have one on volunteer opportunities coming up. So stay tuned for more information on that. And who am I turning it over to? Stephanie or Danny? Steph? Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing it today. So I have everybody's name in this raffle that's around. So I'm just gonna spin the wheel, show you all. Awesome! All right, Dawson.
Dawson, yay! Is Dawson still on?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Dawson, woo! I haven't seen you, Dawson, since last year. You need to be
It's
reaching
been forever.
So Dawson, just send me an email if you want me to mail that gift card to you, or if you want to pick it up at school, and I will get that to you as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining. This has been a lot of fun. I have to hop over into the senior meeting, so I am going to hop out, and you guys are hopping out with me. So
really quick, Jessica, before we hang up, someone's asking for other workshops. Do they get it through their email?
Yes, so everything is in the College and Career Center Google Classroom, but this week I did something different, and I sent you an email the day before and then a text. So that seems to work really well, and I will do that going forward. But yes, every Wednesday about this time there is a workshop. So if you ever have questions, you can email me, and maybe we can post that on Instagram as well. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.